Hey, welcome back to Yoga with Tim. I'm here today with Heidi again. Heidi's back, and also Ollie. And today we're going to do a practice that's going to lead up to handstand, or the preparation for a handstand. If you're interested in learning how to nail a handstand and eventually balance in the middle of the room, I have a whole series that I put together. It's on my website. It's called the Handstand Course. Check it out, yogawithtim.com. Okay, but today we're just going to start off learning the foundation, learning what muscles you need to use, how to use your core, and how to open up your shoulders for it. So first, I'm assuming that you did yesterday's video, which was to open up the shoulders and the wrists. So you still have some of that opening. Bring your knees together now. And then bring your hands right here to where Heidi has them on her front bottom ribs. So as you exhale, I want you to pretend like your front bottom ribs are drawing in and down towards each other. And then as you inhale, keep them drawing in and down, and just breathe into the back ribs more. So this is working on the strength through our breath of the diaphragm, its ability to move and to help the ribs to expand more easily, but also our transverse abdominis. So this is teaching us how to get into our core, just this type of breathing. So exhalations to draw those front ribs in and down. And as you inhale, keep them drawing in and down, and let the back and side ribs open up more. Okay, cool. So now that you got that feeling, raise your arms straight up to the ceiling. And as you inhale, without these front ribs widening, start to reach your arms back. Keep drawing those front ribs in and down, and let the breath move more into your back ribs. And if the arms don't go all the way back, that's normal, because now you're actually holding your rib cage in a way that won't let the arms go all the way back. So that's okay. Drop the hips down, drop the tailbone down, and keep knitting these front ribs in and down as the arms stretch. Reach your tailbone down and out of your back. Then bring your arms down at your side and hug your right knee into your chest. Stretch your left leg out along the floor. Change legs, hug your left knee into your chest, and stretch your right leg out along the floor. Come over here a little bit. Good, then hug your right knee into your chest and stretch your left leg out. Lift your left foot up off the ground just an inch. But notice when you lifted your leg, that front bottom rib set wanted to lift up with it. So that's just like a misfiring in your core. So when you go to lift the leg up, you want to keep that lower rib cage in and down, so that you're working the top of your whole abdominal corset. If you think of it like that, like a whole set of abs wrapping around you, because that's what it is. Then take your right arm up to the ceiling and slowly start to let your right arm fall back, but move from here. So keep the front bottom ribs in and down as the arm reaches back. It will decrease your range of motion for sure. Don't worry about it. Change sides. Right hand to left knee. This is a brain puzzle too. And let the left arm reach back. Reach straight out through your right heel. Oh, what happened to that rib cage? Good. Then change sides. Change sides. We'll start to pick up the pace a little bit just to warm up. Change sides. Try not to let the middle move at all. Keep it in. Change sides. Ooh, it's like a brick in here. Change sides. Keep it squeezed in and down. Change sides. Oh, don't let those ribs lift. Keep them down. Change sides. Back ribs down. Change sides. Good. And release. Roll over to your right side. Press up to seated and take down dog. Lift up from the crease of your hips, up and away from your wrists as you stretch down through your middle three knuckles. Okay, now this next action, this is super duper important. Set your knees down onto the mat and bring your shoulders right over the heel of your hand. So whenever you go to spread your chest, now I want you to think of you're spreading right here at the tops of the shoulder blades and across the collarbones, but without dumping here in your rib cage. So keep all that space and turn your inner armpits forward. Like I took my thumbs into your upper armpit chest and started to turn this inner armpit forward for you. Keep that as you curl your toes under and lift your knees 1 inch off the mat. Feel your hands open up even into the mat. Turn those inner armpits, spread across the tops of the blades and the collarbones. Keep your ribs tipped in. And hold. And hold. And hold. Now see if you can keep this feeling in your trunk and in your arms as you take one leg back at a time into plank. Hold from your middle. Strong in your middle. Without rounding the shoulders though, because when you hold those ribs in, it makes the shoulders want to round. Keep spreading wider, get more space. Oh, don't dump from those ribs though. Get wider, wider, wider across your back. And then set your knees down and stretch into child's pose. Good. Feel a little bit different that way? Okay, then inhale, come up onto your hands and your knees. And just to warm up your shoulders, let's stretch from down dog to plank a few times. So glide back to dog. And as you inhale, shift into plank pose. Bring the shoulders over the wrists. Exhale into dog. Inhale into plank. Exhale into dog. 2 more times. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Last one, inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Okay, now we're gonna do something similar to a mountain climber just to help to strengthen this action of the shoulder and the body. So shift into plank. Feel those ribs draw, front ribs draw up towards the, into the body and spread across your back ribs. Now bring your right leg up without changing the spine. Bring your right knee up to your chest. Just keep this flat back feeling. Good, then stretch that leg back. And then bring your left leg up. Keep rolling the inner armpits forward. Stretch it back. Change legs. Change legs. Keep going now. Keep these ribs pulled in on this side more. Keep going. Last round. Good, then stretch back to down dog. Walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Put a little bend in your knees and clasp your hands behind your back. Interlock the hands and then stretch the knuckles up and over. Change the interlock, take the other index finger on top, same stretch. Good, then hands onto your hips and come up to stand. Turn to face the front of your mat. And we'll do a couple of sun salutations. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. All right, so one of the cues that I like for stepping or jumping in your sun salutations that I got from this teacher named Sean Korn, she said that when you're practicing jumping forward or back, you should pretend like there's a sleeping baby next to your mat. So we have the problem as close as we could get to. We have a sleeping baby dog over here. So make sure that like you had that sleeping dog or human next to you that you're going to try not to wake up. Look in between your hands. If you're going to hop, you can, but as lightly as you can. Step or hop. Let's see, we'll see the test. Oh yeah, I didn't even wake him up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. He doesn't like to be waked up from his naps either, so inhale, come all the way up. Press down through your feet. Raise your arm. And exhale the hands to your heart. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step or float back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. All right, then step your right foot for warrior two. Inhale, come right up. Right thigh turns all the way out as you open. Yeah, right up into warrior two. Your back foot is angled in slightly. Your right heel is lined up with kind of like the ankle on your back foot. You can always go a little bit wider if it helps with your stability. And then grow tall through your spine, right up over top of your pelvis. Open your chest and the tops of your blades. So often in yoga, like when I first started yoga, I was always concerned with getting more height. I was like trying to lift myself, because when I first came to yoga, my body looked like this. So I was trying to get my chest open. So I was always lifting and lifting and lifting until lifting got to be projecting forward, and I was like almost standing in a back bend all the time. So we don't want to do that either. So when we hold these standing poses, we want to be just in neutral. You're not back bended, but you're not hunched over. Yeah, just like that. Okay, then as you go into extended side angle, same feeling. You're not going to go into a back bend. You're not going to hunch over. See if you can keep that feeling in the symmetry of the rib cage as you go over. Set your right forearm down onto your thigh and reach your left arm all the way over. Nice. And that's the most common thing that I'll see is that, and really it's a good balance of strength and flexibility. If you're able to hold these standing poses, they should be done. Often I see people lean back or rounded forward because of too much flexibility or not enough. Good, then come back up to warrior two. Circle your hands to the mat and step back to down dog, or take a vinyasa. If you're working on upper body strength, you get out of vinyasa at your call. All right, then step your left foot for warrior two. Inhale, come up. And line up your left heel with the ankle of your right foot. Make sure your right foot's turned in a little. Now Heidi's got this tight hip on this side, so I'm gonna have her even take her foot over just a little bit more. Take your foot just a little bit more. And actually that's more like heel to ankle. Okay, good. And then look for that upright feeling as you hold in the pose. Make sure that your rib cage isn't sinking forward. You're not projecting the chest forward, but you're letting the core of your spine start to grow taller and longer. Even better, good. Now come into extended side angle. Put your forearm onto your thigh and take your right arm all the way over. Do open up the upper chest and this right shoulder, but don't press the floating ribs forward, which is down here is where your floating ribs. Don't press those forward and up to open your chest. But also make sure that you're not doing it so aggressively to where you're holding your breath, because that is not very sattvic at all. And that's actually, if we go back to our idea of brahmacharya, that's like killing your energetic flow, to like tighten it up so much. So you want to practice stabilizing from there, but not still allow the breath to be expansive. Inhale, come back up. And Vinyasa, circle your hands to the mat. Good job. All right, now walk your hands back to your feet and come all the way up to stand. Okay, now we're going to go over to the wall and we're going to practice Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana at the wall, which is a fancy way of saying put your foot up on the wall. So you measure yourself at leg distance and take the foot up to hip height. Let's start with the right leg up. Have you ever done yoga before? No, I'm just kidding.
It's my first time.
She's been taking yoga with me for a long time, so I can razz on her. Okay, so make sure that you're first, bring this leg back down for a sec. Make sure that your standing leg is right underneath you. So Heidi was just a little far away from the wall, so I'm going to scoot her a little closer, just like that. Okay, now take your leg up. It might feel a little bit weird because, yeah, your hips will want to compensate, etc. Try not to let the hips twist. Bring your hands to your hips, level the hips, even the hips, and then grow this left leg longer by pulling the thigh up and stretching down through your foot. That was great. Now take your arms forward, and I've got my eyes right here on her ribs. I'm gonna make sure that her ribs don't push forward at all as she starts to raise her arms up. Don't cheat from there, okay? Start to raise your arms up to the ceiling, but don't let the ribs come forward. That's good. But then the body will do a couple things to compensate. It'll sink the head forward because it doesn't like that, having to hold the ribs in. So keep your head still up on top. And then lift up from the very top of your chest, straight up to the ceiling. Open both feet into the contact of the wall and the floor. And then lower your leg back down. Good job. Okay, cool. Let's try it with the other leg. So make sure that it's like right in line with your hip socket, right at hip height. Okay, and so this is your funky hip, right? So let's see, bend your right knee just a little and let the hips go more even. Do this at home too. Make sure both of your hips are totally even. Even if you have to bend both knees. Yeah, maybe lower it a little too. Okay, now, keeping that even quality in your hips, start to pull your right thigh up into the socket and stretch down through your right foot evenly. I won't be able to fix it in one session, but it's good to work towards being even. Good to remember, don't try to fix something that's been in your body for like 15 years in one session, but just give yourself time, just educate that area. Take your arms forward, and then slowly start to raise your arms up. Keep your head balanced right up on top of your spine. And then open up through both feet, stretch through the toes. Good, bring your arms back down and lower your leg down. Okay, now turn around right from where you're at, and you're gonna put the heel of your hand down where your toes are, right in front of your toes. So the heel of the hand lines up with the toes, right to the sides. Hands shoulder distance apart. Then take your feet to where the wall meets the floor. So you're doing a mini down dog. I got a baseboard, so she'll just take her heels onto the baseboard. Okay, now bring your shoulders right over the heel of your hands and find the space that we were looking for when we were practicing the hand and the knee thing. Space across the tops of the blades, space across the collarbones. Turn the triceps, but now energize your arms. Reach to your hands, plug the inner arms up into the socket as you stretch from the outer arm dramatically into the middle three knuckles. Keep plugging that inner arm up as you open up the hands, just like we were working with the legs just a moment ago. The shoulders stay right over the wrists, don't change that. Now, without your shoulders rolling inward, keeping the width across the collarbone, step your right foot up at hip height. Pause there. Do you still have the shoulders over the wrist? Do you still have the arms straight like steel? Look in between your index fingers. Without rounding your shoulders, see if you can step your other leg up to meet the right leg. That's where they'll want to round. Don't let them. Turn the inner armpits forward like we practiced at the beginning. Now, see if you can start to straighten your legs. You might be able to, you might not. Lift your hips up over your wrists and straighten your legs. Breathe. Woo! It's really tough to do it that way. But were you a little too close to the wall, do you think?
Maybe.
Maybe. Try one more time.
Okay.
Try, yeah, with the hands a little further. Okay, cool. So I wanted you to be able to see what it's like in reality, what it looks like for someone to try to work with doing this transition. So start with the left leg this time. Step your left foot up, right at hip height. You're doing a very good job of acting in this, Heidi. That's great. Then bring the right leg up, 2. Shoulders over. And then see if you can straighten your legs. And keep rotating those inner arms. Oh, that's better. Just a little too close. It's too gnarly when you're too close. Okay, now the last phase, if you're feeling steady, you'll just try to take one leg up, keeping your ribs in. And then lower it down, come back down. Oh, and then the other leg too. Okay, good. Then lower back down, come back down. So once you feel more confident, once you can hold in that pose for a long time, like for 30 seconds maybe in the L shape, no worries, then you can play with taking the legs one leg away from the wall at a time. And you learn more about that in the handstand course. If you really want to dedicate energy to being able to do a good handstand, check that out. Okay. Did we solve everything that we needed to?
I think so.
Okay, come back to your mat now and stand at the front of your mat in mountain pose. So just take a moment for the feeling of the inversion to sink in, what it feels like to be upside down. It's like a really cool feeling, and it's one of the things that I use to create a meditative quality in my practice. If I'm feeling like really disconnected, I'll try to put an inversion more towards the beginning of my practice, and I'll come down, I'll feel much more connected and energized from the inversion. So just notice how you feel. Then inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back to dog or take a vinyasa. Then hop to seated. And sit with your legs stretched straight out in front of you. Okay, let's do the preparation for a reverse plank. You got spooked. Put your hands back a foot behind you. Turn your shoulder heads back and open up across your chest. Then with knees bent, bend your knees, put your feet on the floor, lift your hips up. I really like the reverse plank because it's a good complement to practicing chaturanga. I see all too often people who do vinyasa yoga, they start to develop rounded shoulders because of all the chaturanga up dogging. So it's a great complement to help to strengthen your back body and your external rotators. Lower your hips back down. Watch out for that paw. Take a breath. One more time. Go back up. Turn your shoulders, open your chest, and then lift your hips up. Keep rolling the inner shoulder to the outer shoulder. Press down into all 4 corners of your feet evenly. And now squeeze the back of your leg. Oh, good. And lower your hips back down. Nice job. Then sit with your legs stretched straight out in front of you. And Dandasana twist. Sit up tall as you twist to your right. Left hand to the outside of your right leg and right hand behind you. Twist to the left. Grow down evenly through your sit bones as you allow the rest of the spine to elongate. Come back to center. Put a little bend in your knees and then start to fold forward over your legs. Walk your hands out towards your feet or raise your arms up and reach for your feet, either one. And let your head drop. Then if you can start to straighten the legs, go ahead. All right, and then lie down onto your back for corpse pose. So just let your palms fall up at your side, let your feet fall open. And with each exhalation, allow yourself to sink a little deeper inward. Then gently bend your knees and roll over to your right side. Press yourself up to seated. Sit up straight and tall with your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. All right, thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions about what we learned today in handstand, just leave a comment below and make sure to hit the like button. I'll see you next time.